a lot of allegations coming out about a lot of people. I have never discussed this in the podcast before, but obviously there were allegations against one of my co-stars.
Shangela is facing many new sexual assault allegations.
Hello, drag family. Gloria Hole here from Queen Central, a space where we celebrate drag's brilliance but also confront its hardest truths. Today, we're addressing allegations that have shaken our community. Dakota Payne, a former performer and production assistant, has publicly accused Shangala, a drag race icon and fan favorite, of sexual assault. These claims, detailed in an exclusive interview with the New York Times, have sparked critical conversations about accountability, survivor support, and the challenging reckoning many face when separating art from artist. In their own words, Payne shared, "I didn't want to be the face of this movement. But when institutions fail, survivors have no choice but to speak."
The 6 people is incredibly damning, and I certainly hope that these people get the justice that they need. I can't even imagine what it's like to see.
Their courage has amplified urgent questions about power dynamics, consent, and the systems that too often silence marginalized voices in entertainment. Here at Queen Central, we believe in centering survivors while acknowledging the complexity of these discussions. Drag is a sanctuary for many, but it must also be a space where accountability and justice are prioritized. As this story evolves, we urge our community to listen deeply, support survivors, and reflect on how we can do better. Who are the parties involved? Shangala, born Darius Jeremy Pierce, is not only a drag queen, she's a cultural phenomenon. Rising to fame on RuPaul's Drag Race seasons 2 and 3, she became a breakout star on All Stars 3 with her catchphrase, "Hallelujah."
But let me tell you something. You pick up the hallelujah hoop and you put it back around your waist and you work the hallelujah hoop. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want that whore no more. 5, 6, 7, 8. I am gonna find a day.
And strategic gameplay. Beyond the show, Shangela has become a mainstream icon, starring in films like A Star is Born and co-hosting HBO's groundbreaking series We're Here, which highlights LGBTQ+ stories in small-town America. Her career has been defined by resilience, mentorship, and advocacy for queer visibility. Dakota Payne is a New Orleans-based burlesque performer, producer, and former crew member who worked alongside Shangela on projects between 2018 and 2020. Payne, who uses they/them pronouns, has been a vocal advocate for mental health and survivor rights within the performance community. Payne alleges that Shangela sexually assaulted them in 2020 after a work-related event. Payne claims they've spent years grappling with the trauma before deciding to come forward publicly, citing a desire to protect others in the industry. The allegations. Details from Dakota Payne's account. In their statement, Payne alleges that Shangela invited them to her hotel room under the guise of discussing career opportunities. Once there, Payne claims Shangela became physically aggressive and assaulted them, despite repeated verbal and physical refusals, which they say show attempts to confront Shangela privately about the incident. According to Payne, Shangela initially apologized but later dismissed their concerns, leading Payne to withdraw from collaborative projects and eventually leave the industry altogether. Payne has since filed a police report in Louisiana, though no formal charges have been announced. Legal experts note that such cases often face significant hurdles, including statutes of limitations and the difficulty of gathering physical evidence years after the alleged incident.
Lawsuit dropped by accuser alleging sexual assault by Shangela.
However, Payne's decision to speak publicly has reignited debates about how marginalized communities handle accountability outside traditional legal systems. Louisiana's statute of limitations for sexual assault is 3 years, a deadline Payne's 2020 allegations narrowly meet. Legal experts warn that even with filed reports, securing a conviction often hinges on physical evidence or witnesses, which are scarce in cases involving private interactions. Yet, Payne's choice to speak publicly, despite these barriers, reflects a growing trend of survivors leveraging social media to bypass broken systems. Shangela's response and legal rebuttal. Shangela has categorically denied the allegations through her legal team. In a statement released to TMZ, her attorneys called the claims categorically false and defamatory, adding, "Our client has always upheld the highest standards of respect and consent. These accusations are a baseless attempt to tarnish her reputation, and we will pursue all legal avenues to address this malicious attack." Supporters of Shangela point to her long-standing advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights, Critics, however, argue that public personas often mask private behavior, and they stress the importance of centering survivors regardless of a figure's prominence. Shangela has not addressed the allegations directly on social media, though her team has hinted at a defamation lawsuit. Legal analysts suggest that without criminal charges, the case may hinge on civil litigation, where the burden of proof is lower, but the emotional toll on both parties could be devastating. Shangela's legal team has reportedly subpoenaed text logs and witness testimonies to challenge Payne's timeline. Meanwhile, defamation lawsuits in similar cases have sparked debates about whether legal battles further silence survivors. As one attorney noted, courts aren't designed for trauma, they're designed to win. Reactions from the drag community and beyond. The allegations have sent shockwaves through the drag world. Some queens have voiced unwavering support for Payne. Conversely, Trixie Mattel and Bob the Drag Queen have remained conspicuously silent on social media, a decision that has drawn criticism from advocates who argue that neutrality sides with abusers. Behind the scenes, the fallout is tangible. HBO has quietly scrubbed Shangela's likeness from promotional materials for We're Here, though the show remains on streaming platforms. RuPaul's Drag Race producers have declined to comment, but insiders claim Shangela's planned appearances on All Stars 9 and Drag Race Live in Las Vegas have been paused indefinitely. Fans are deeply divided. The polarization underscores a painful reality. When allegations involve beloved figures, the community often fractures along lines of loyalty and trauma. Even RuPaul, typically silent on controversies, faces pressure to address the allegations. A producer leaked that Ru privately told staff, "This isn't just about Shangela, it's about the soul of the show." Meanwhile, HBO's quiet editing of We're Here promos mirrors Netflix's handling of similar scandals, where brands prioritize optics over accountability.
Daniel McGarrigle was employed as a production assistant on the HBO series We're Here, and he initiated a civil lawsuit against Shangela, accusing her of sexual assault.
Power dynamics and systemic failures. Payne's allegations highlight systemic issues plaguing the entertainment industry, where power imbalances and informal work environments often enable abuse. Unlike unionized film sets, many drag shows and tours operate on handshake deals, leaving performers and crew vulnerable to exploitation. When someone like Shangela, who holds immense influence, is accused, it forces us to confront the myth that queer spaces are inherently safe. Advocates are calling for structural reforms, including mandatory consent training for touring performers and anonymous reporting channels for crews. The Drag King Alliance, a nonprofit, has launched a petition demanding RuPaul's Drag Race adopt stricter accountability measures, citing similar controversies involving other queens. In 2022, Drag King Landon Sider called out a prominent queen for similar abuses, revealing how non-binary performers face added marginalization when reporting. The system protects stars, not survivors. Without unions or HR departments, many artists rely on gossip, not due process, to navigate danger. The bigger picture: survivor advocacy and moving forward. This moment is not just about Shangela or Payne, it's about how marginalized communities navigate justice without institutional support. Survivor advocacy groups like RAIN have reported a 40% spike in calls from LGBTQ+ individuals since the allegations surfaced, a stark reminder that queer survivors often face unique barriers to coming forward. Payne has partnered with the Fireweed Collective, a mental health organization, to fundraise for trauma-informed therapy for drag artists. Meanwhile, Shangela's legal team has begun subpoenaing witnesses, setting the stage for a protracted legal battle that could redefine how the drag world handles misconduct claims. As fans await clarity, one truth remains: accountability and compassion are not mutually exclusive. Whether through legal rulings or community-led restorative justice, the path forward must prioritize healing for all parties. The Fireweed Collective's fundraiser has already secured $50,000 for trauma therapy. Meanwhile, RAIN reports that 1 in 3 LGBTQ+ survivors never report assaults, fearing backlash or disbelief. Mic drop moment? Let's spill one last truth bomb. Allegations like these force us to sit with discomfort. They remind us that heroes are human, that art is complicated, and that survival often wears many faces. If this story affects you, remember, support is available. Reach out to loved ones, contact organizations like RAIN, and know that your voice matters. To the drag community, this is a moment to lead with empathy, to listen without prejudice, and to build systems that protect the vulnerable. The stage may be built for drama, but our humanity demands more. Stay informed, stay kind, and above all, believe in the possibility of justice, even when the path is unclear. To viewers, your voice matters. Sign petitions for accountability reforms. Donate to survivor funds. And if you're hurting, know that healing is not linear. It's a revolution. As activist Tarana Burke once said, "We are the leaders we've been waiting for." We encourage thoughtful discussion in the comments. Please keep exchanges respectful and survivor-focused. If this topic affects you, resources are linked below. Share responsibly, and remember, supporting survivors is not cancel culture, it's community care.